Yo, what's good, guys? What's up? What's good, Jester? Piper? Hubert? What's up, good fellas? How we doing? All right, so I'll just get all set up here for the stream. We're gonna look at the patch notes. Gonna go through the whole thing, and then we're gonna look at stuff on the PTS for a little bit on the game. So yeah. I skimmed through some of the changes earlier today while I was at work. But I haven't really seen a whole lot. I've seen some things, but not everything. So what do you guys think about him overall? Preston, bro. What's up, dude? How's it going, man? Thanks for the $50 donation, buddy. I appreciate that. That was a quick one. I haven't seen you in a hot minute. How have you been, man? Nightblade changes. Yeah, I've seen the surprise attack. That was pretty nasty. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to dive into it and see kind of what's going on. Yeah, I mean, if anybody's watching this at a later date, you know, we're gonna get into the patch notes and whatnot, and then a little bit later we're gonna go on the PTS and look at some changes. So yeah, I guess let's get started. So I don't read this beginning stuff. This is nothing I really care about too much. I'm thinking about making like a separate video of this. Like going over the new item sets in the next update, going over the new you know, like the class changes and whatnot. Maybe do a separate video tomorrow, but I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. See you, Preston. Have a good day, buddy. Thanks for the $50 donation, man. All right, so there's the patch notes. I don't know if you guys got that. Did you guys get that? Yeah, it looks like you got it. All right. So the new sets added. I haven't looked at these yet, so these are going to be interesting. Let's turn the music down. I don't know if that's too loud for you guys, but it's a little bit kind of distracting. All right. So Earthen Root Enclaves. This is that dungeon. So the light armor set. Max Magicka, healing done, max Magicka. On heal with an area of effect, you apply Minor Berserk and Minor Resolve to allies for 4 seconds. If a healed ally already has Minor Berserk or Resolve from Stone's Core, they restore 550 Magicka. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. Yeah, that's not terrible. I mean, it's gonna be probably for healers and PvE. The Rage of Ursak. I'm not. English wasn't my first language. I don't know how they say these things. Anyways, we got offensive pin, crit chance. When you deal damage with a heavy attack, you create a 12-meter area for 12 seconds. It grants them power to allies inside. Increases the damage of their light and heavy attacks by 1800. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds. And nothing crazy for PvP, I would say. Deep Root Zeal. We got max Magicka, or max stamina, max magic, max health. When you deal direct damage to a taunted target, you restore 525 Magicka. And stamina, this effect can occur once every 2 seconds. That's interesting. That's a lot of sustain. And then the monster set, the Arc Druid Devrik, offensive pin, and then the 2-piece. When you deal damage with a heavy attack after 1.2 seconds, you deal shock damage up to 6 enemies within 7-meter cone of your target, applying major vulnerability to them for 7 seconds. Increasing the damage enemies take by 10%. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. It scales with the higher of your weapon or spell damage. That's pretty interesting. So it doesn't say a fully charged heavy attack either. So you can possibly use this on like a medium weave with Vadishran 2H. And get some pretty nasty burst potential with this. It's got a delay with it, so it will proc with Vadishran. So when you deal damage with a heavy attack after 1.2 seconds, you deal shock damage up to 6 enemies within a 7-meter cone on your target. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think this major vulnerability is pretty pretty nasty, honestly. Like major vulnerability is crazy. And it's basically got a 50% uptime on vulnerability. So I think this will be a really good set. Definitely gonna try it. Probably, I can see this being used, you know, like a dual wield Sam sort type of thing. Like it could be a replacement for Balor per se. Yeah, we're looking at the patch notes. We're gonna look at them live, and then we're gonna go a little bit later. We're going to we're gonna get on the PTS and look at some changes. The Graven Deep, so Grave Inevitability. So we got critical chance, weapon damage, critical chance. Dealing damage with a light or heavy tech grants you a stack of Remorseless for 5 seconds, up to 5 stacks. Up to once every 0.5 seconds. While you have 5 stacks, you generate an aura of focus, grants you major force, increase your critical damage by 20%. While you have the aura of focus, allies within 12 meters gain minor force, increases the critical damage by 10%. I don't know how that. I mean, that could be good for PvE, obviously. I don't think Jabs got gutted. I think Jabs is still fine. We'll see though. I think light attacks can still crit. We'll test that out for sure. Weaving is not gone. It's just less effective. In short, from what I've heard from somebody, is on a DPS on a high level player, on a DPS rotation, they got a 30% loss in damage just from the light attack changes alone. Now obviously that's not going to be like, it's just week 1 of the PTS. So if there's a 30% damage loss in a high level player, you could assume in a PvP environment, that's probably going to be a 30 to 40% loss of burst potential just from the light attacks going like less damage. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Weapon damage, critical chance. On light attack, critical damage, you apply a Withered Soul, dealing disease damage over 10 seconds. On light attack, critical damage on an enemy with Withered Soul, restore 575 stamina. Withered Soul can occur once every 10 seconds, and the damage scales off the higher of your weapon or spell damage. Okay. The target Den Mother, healing taken, armor, health recovery, and then max stamina. When you block, you and up to 3 other group members within 12 meters gain minor courage for 10 seconds. Increase your weapon spell damage by 215. Not terrible, I guess. Maybe for PvE. Euphotic Gatekeeper, Monster Mask. Recovery. Whenever you use roll dodge, create a Habloid Husk after you roll. While within 5 meters of the husk, it will absorb all direct damage against you. After 1 second, the Habloid Husk explodes, dealing poison damage to all enemies within 5 meters. This effect can occur once every 20 seconds and scales with the higher of your weapon or spell damage. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. That's going to be like a meme roly-poly build. But it's got a very long cooldown. 20 seconds is massive. So, oh well. I mean, we'll see how this goes. We'll test some of these new sets out, and we'll kind of talk about them. What's good, Nate? Rip Oakensoul. Yeah, well, I haven't seen the changes to Oakensoul yet, so we'll see about those. Garbage DLC plus ruining core game mechanics as it makes it stand out to other MMOs can't be good. Yeah, I would agree to some degree for sure. I just hope that if there's enough backlash, they will revert this light attack change. I think they will. I think that's the reason why, you know, I made the videos that I did talking about the changes and whatnot. So hopefully we can get some action from ZOS. I don't know. The thing is, here's a quick TLDR version. If you suck at light attack weaving, okay, your DPS is not going to go up. Your DPS is going to go down because now your light attacks are dealing less damage, okay? But not only are you not gaining anything, you're nuking the top end by a 30% margin of any decent player whatsoever. 20 to 30%. So you got to think, they said there's 6 to 11% internal testing. You got to take that to at least double. Because ZeniMax does play the game in testing, but they don't play the game at the same level, I think, as high-end players. So whatever they say, something's like 6 to 11% is more than likely going to be, at least with this type of change, it's going to be a pretty massive impact. So If you suck at light attack weaving, you are not going to get an increase in damage. Okay, that's for one, and it's only going to really affect the high end. Now, if they just nerfed light attacks across the board, maybe made it to where, you know, they scaled a little bit less off of your offensive stats, then that would be, you know, a little bit more tolerable, because then that's going to adjust everybody, not just nuking the top end, but also nuking the bottom end as well, because their damage are going to go down also. So we'll see how it goes. You know, yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on it in a nutshell. So let's check out the new rewards of the worthy sets. I skimmed through these a little bit earlier today. So we got the Langor of Perite. So this is a light armor set, weapon damage, critical resistance, offensive pen. When you deal 6% increased damage to blocking players. When you deal light attack damage to an enemy that is immune to crowd control, you apply the Langor for 10 seconds, reducing their magicka and stamina recovery by 248. That's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting right there. So, yeah, I mean, you deal damage to an enemy that has CC immunity, you're going to reduce the recovery by 248. That's pretty gnarly. That's kind of annoying. You're going to see some Zergs with those, I bet you. That's going to be good for those tank bots and heal bots to fight each other. Not even to, like, kill them by yourself, because you're not going to use this set in PvP, except if you're, like, in a group, because then you can have some buffs from other people. Nocturnal's Ploy, offensive pin, critical resistance, stamina recovery. When you apply a major debuff to an enemy, you remove a major buff with a duration from the target. When you apply a minor debuff to an enemy, remove a minor buff with a duration from the target. This effect can occur once every 2 seconds. Wow. That's gonna, like, strip buffs. Like, wow, that's kind of crazy. Jeez. Okay. That's pretty strong. That's going to be like removing your armor. But the issue is that 2, 3, 4 piece is kind of trash. But that is kind of RNG buff removal for sure, isn't it? Oh, man. That's another Zerging set right there. That's not a solo set. There's that. Mara's Bomb. You have armor, critical resistance, healing taken. When a negative effect is removed from you, you restore health. When you take damage, you have 6 or more negative effects. Cleanse all negative effects. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. So that's going to be a tanking set, not going to be used too often. All right. Abilities. Okay. All right, let's roll down here. Duke of Crows. You guys want me to go over the Tales of Tribute balance real quick for you guys? You want to go over the Tales of Tribute? Let's go over the Tales of Tribute real quick. Duke of Crows increased your cost of gold of scratch to 4 gold from 3. Oh man. No, we're not gonna look at that. I'm just kidding. All right. Combat and gameplay. Here we go. So light and heavy attacks now deal a flat amount of damage rather than scaling off of the highest offensive stats. Melee light attacks deal 2250 base damage, while range attacks deal 10% less. Okay. Let me see here. I can't put my calculator on the screen, can I? Okay, so you just have to take my word for it. 2250. Times that by 0.10, 225. Those are gonna make it to where it's yeah, so 225. So it's gonna make it to where it's basically like range, like light attacks from stabs are gonna basically deal 2k damage, and melee attacks are gonna deal 2200 150. That's basically an essence of what it is. Now, you have to also keep in mind, guys, in PvP, damage is reduced by 50% already. So that's going to take that light attack damage. This is what I was talking about. I hope this damage is adjusted some. 2250, and then we're going to times that by, or divide that by 2. It's going to be 1125. That is the base light attack. Now, obviously, if they can crit and whatnot, I don't know. We'll have to test that. But whenever I was just messing around with light attacks in PvE, on my stamina, on my PvP builds, I was hitting like 4 to 5k light attacks. Okay, so to now have that nerfed by 50%, okay, and then also like in PvP on top of that, it's gonna get gutted by 50%. So you could have 8k weapon damage, and your light attacks are only gonna probably deal 1300 damage, if that, and that's not even factoring in Empower still buff light attack. Yes, it does. We'll have to see. I mean, that could be more of a viable way to try to get a little bit more burst damage, because light attacks provide a lot of burst in PvP. So this is, it's overall interesting. I think it's still a heavy-handed nerf, because I know I hit 4k. Like, we could probably go back through some of my gameplay on my Samsorks or whatnot, and I'm on my melee Samsork, mind you, not my range one, not like the annoying, like, you know, that type of Sork, but there's just a basic crystal weapon Samsork type of build. I'm probably hitting 3k light attacks, probably, and now that's going to get nerfed down to 1100, which is going to be massive nerf. It's pretty big. Fully charged melee heavy attacks deal 2500 base damage multiplied by their cast time and cooldown, and there's 10% less for ranged heavy attacks. So for example, two-handed heavy attacks take 1.8 seconds between their cast time and cooldown, meaning their damage dealt is at base 4500. Okay, so and we all know, like, light attack damage and heavy attack damage in PvP is obviously higher than this on a basic PvP build. Like, if you're running Clever Alchemist Plague Break, you're hitting more than a 4500 heavy attack. You're hitting more than, well, if you cut it in half, obviously, with the Battle Spirit, you're obviously going to be hitting more than 4500. Well, whatever that is, half of that, 2250. So yeah, I think this is going to be a massive nerf to burst damage, but we'll see. So medium attacks continue to scale between their light and fully charged counterpart. So that's pretty interesting. The final hit from restoration and lighting staves can now be dodged. So the final hit only, not the ticks, which is kind of annoying. But they can now be dodged to ensure there is better counterplay in denying an opponent's resources at the stronger portion of the attack. So I think if you guys notice all the time whenever you're playing, and you know, even in duels, this is where this gets super annoying, especially going against DKs and whatnot. Like you'll notice that, you know, people like with the rest of staff, they'll just sit there and hold heavy attack to get the resources back. Now there's going to be some counterplay to that. We're not going to be able to just turtle up and just resto heavy to get resources back. That's going to definitely incentivize more recovery than, you know, kind of has been accustomed to over time. I think this is a good step for sure. I think they may have had this at one point in time and then got rid of it and then brought it back now. It's kind of frustrating, but I think this is overall for skill base and for, you know, your overall understanding of the game. This is a big change right here to the favor of a skill gap, I should say. So they're not doing everything wrong, but this is definitely a good change right here. I think personally, you know, if you have somebody just turtling up and they just sit there and hold heavy restos and hold heavy lightnings, just trying to get resources back and play a little bit defensive, that's going to no longer let them do that, because you can roll dodge that last tick and they get no resources back from that, nor do you take damage from it. So it's pretty good. So resources restored from fully charged heavy attacks have been streamlined to grant an average of approximately 1350 resources based on their total cast time and cooldown, rather than varying values with no standardization. So I definitely think a standardization is definitely going to be good. I think this is This is definitely nice. We'll see what they change. So two-handed and Volan Drug now restore 2,425 stamina rather than 2,426. Oh man, two-handed attacks got a massive nerf. A massive nerf of 1. Restoration got a nerf about 300. One-handed shield got a buff of about 300-ish. Ice and Inferno Staves now restore 2838 rather than 2823, so just a little bit more. Dual wield restores about 300 more actually. Bow now restores 30 more than it did before. Lightning Staves restore way less. That's pretty big to those lightning staff builds, definitely. And unarmed combat got a 400 buff, so watch out, guys. You're gonna see the fist coming out. So adjusted many bonuses from sets, abilities, and passives to better equate for these changes, which are listed under their sourced areas. Fixed an issue where dual wield medium attacks could deal more damage than fully charged counterpart in some cases. All right, so adjusted player damage over time rules. What's this? Oh, during the Greenmore era, we ran a test where we refactored the functionality of light and heavy attacks while we ended up not implementing those changes due to player feedback. There were many positive notes and remarks we took away from the change list overall. This time around, we are implementing the good parts from the received feedback and avoiding the other areas. Overall, we are keeping light attacks in place of the top DPS producing results, albeit at a much lesser extent than what they were doing before. Heavy attacks will remain more resource driven, but now also produce significantly less DPS losses than before. The main reason for streamlining these values was to reduce the bloat of damage production that can provide high level reinforcing an intense necessity to perfectly light attack weave to produce viable damage, while simultaneously retaining their damage values at the low end for those who rely on them to not be negatively affected. In doing so, we've also been able to adjust item sets that augment these effects to be much more impactful without the concern of creating higher burst potential in PvP environments, helping accessibility in all environments. Okay, let's read that last sentence again. In doing so, we've also been able to adjust item sets that augment these effects to be much more impactful without the concern of creating higher burst potential in PvP environments. Okay. Thus, no. There needs to be more bursts in PvP, not less. You run around in PvP and there's people with 40k health and you deal a light attack now and that's going to deal less than 1% of their health. Man, there's got to be more burst potential in PvP, not less. There more damage. So what this means, that off the rip, guys, just from looking at this alone, if they're mentioning burst potential in PvP and it's going to be without causing concern, then that's definitely going to mean there's going to be a massive loss in burst through light attacks, obviously. I'm telling you guys, people didn't believe me when I said light attacks are one of the most intrinsic things of getting better at the game. And obviously holds true, right? But light attack weaving is still going to be the most damage, but is it going to be too much of a nerf to where like people just aren't going to die even more than they already are now? That's kind of a big deal, I think. That was a pretty good developer comment right there. Definitely kind of showed us where they're at overall. But man, I'm just going to highlight this right here. Much more impactful without concern of creating higher burst potential in PvP. We definitely need the other way around. We need more burst potential. We need to slot 5 healing abilities on both wards and put 2 healing ults as well. Heck, let's all get in a group with 15 different sources of healing and move around the map. Right? Yeah. I think heal stacking is definitely an issue. But we'll see what they did with some of those things. All right. So adjusted player damage over time abilities should generally fall to the following rules. Abilities will now last 20 seconds in duration, up from 10. Almost all damage over times now tick on a 2-second frequency rather than 2 seconds if they were a single target and 1 second if they were area of effect. Abilities now deal roughly 2 times the amount of damage than a normal spammable such as Lava Whip or Concealed Weapon would deal, up from 1.5 times the amount. Since they will now take longer to deal the damage, this will result in approximate 33% overall DPS decrease for damage over time effects, while making them more worthwhile in long-term fights and easier to keep up. So off the rip, from a PvP perspective, this is a massive nerf to dots across the board. Like, I understand that dots are going to last longer, but then again, like in a solo type of environment, this actually may be counterintuitive, because if you think about it, if you get like 4 or 5 different people on you and you're playing solo, and these people hit you with a 20-second dot, you're going to be kiting forever. Okay? You're going to be like zooming along, and you're going to still be getting hit by like dots that somebody's seen you 20 seconds ago or 15 seconds ago, and you're still going to have those on you. But it's also the overall damage. Think about this in the bigger picture. The overall damage of the dots is going up, okay? Not down. The overall damage you're taking is going up, but the damage over the DPS is kind of, it's getting longer, but it's going to take more time for it to deal damage, basically. The DPS is definitely going down, but the whole damage is going up. So if you get a dot on you, you're going to be taking more damage. Now it's going to be ticking for less, but you're still going to be taking more damage over that duration. And I think that'll definitely impact the solo environment more than people realize. Because you got to heal. You got to heal through all of that damage you're going to be taking. And it's definitely going to be pretty massive. I think personally, this is going to be like, oh, people are going to see it like, oh, dots are going to be not as strong now. But I think it's countering. From a solo perspective, these dots are actually a lot stronger because you have to heal through, basically 0.5 times more damage now. So definitely Purge Templars is probably going to be a must. At least some type of Purge to help you out. Like Necros and Wardens and Templars are definitely going to be some of the best, because Nightblades are going to get screwed over. For the defensive capabilities, DKs have a lot of healing potential, and Sorks are screwed in general. So I think this is going to be unseen by a lot of people other than the people in chat. But definitely keep this in mind. You're going to be taking more damage from dots, but it's just going to take longer. So that means you're going to have to heal through it. So most costs have been untouched. This is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. Most costs of the damage over time effects have been untouched, reducing the overall cost per second of these abilities by half. That is a massive, massive influx of sustain. Massive influx. Like, okay, you not only have to bar swap anymore to put your dots on them, but they are not getting changed in the value of what they cost. This is the worry I had coming into this patch. I was talking about it with Nice, and a few other you guys. This is big. It's free sustain now. So this is like, not only do your buffs last longer now, not only do like your dots last longer now, but the costs of those dots have remained untouched. So you're going to be able to put your dots on somebody and they're going to last so long, you're going to just spam your spammable at that point, and that's all you can do. I think this should be addressed. I would like to see a 25% increased cost, if anything, to go to the middle ground. I think in a solo type of environment, they should cost more. I think, from looking at it from that perspective, I think dots should be 25% more cost if they're gonna do a little bit more damage. Sure, the burst damage is less, but you gotta get the middle ground somewhere. I think that they should increase the costs by 25% if the duration is going to get doubled and the damage is going to go up. So, yeah, who needs the Eyr0n and Serpent Mundus now? For sure. If you're going to be a dot-centered build, then you probably don't need it. I mean, this is pretty big. DKs especially. I mean, but like, here's the thing though. In a solo 1vx environment, this is not going to change, other than your DPS for dots have gone down. So if you're playing a solo Stamplar, Stamblade, any type of high burst build, you don't run dots. Don't run dots. Like, except for maybe a DK, dots are trash. Like, unless you're zerging, dots are not good. So if you're playing in a large group, dots are amazing. If you're playing solo, dots are not good because they're not giving you enough burst damage to really matter in the first place. And they're also going to last for 20 seconds, right? So sure, it could be okay in certain situations, but 20 seconds is a long time in a 1vx situation. So you're definitely going to feel the loss of damage of the upfront, but it could pan out. We'll see how it goes. But I think right now, they should increase the cost by 25%, and of all dots, I think that's a more fair thing. And then dots from like a solo perspective are not as good, at least from my perspective right now. What about duels? Duels, this should be interesting because it's going to provide a lot more pressure now. So I think for duels, the dots are going to be a lot stronger because of how much more damage they're going to be doing and the cost of them. So you're going to have like a DK. So if you got like a Stam DK, you got Venom Claw and Noxious Breath, right? And those all last, for example, 20 seconds. I don't know how long they'll last just yet, but say, for example, they last for 20 seconds. Well, now you're going to be in that window of spamming Flames of Oblivion, Flames of Oblivion, Flames of Oblivion, and then go into a Molten Whip again. And then you're going to go Flames of Oblivion, Flames of Oblivion, Flames of Oblivion, Molten Whip. You're going to be keeping that consistent single target pressure while your dots are ticking, so you no longer have to reapply them again so frequently in a 1v1 type of situation. I think for 1v1s, dots are going to get stronger. I think for 1vx, dots are a little bit weaker, and for zerging, dots are very strong, especially when you're zerging somebody down in a like a XV1 type of situation. So that's kind of the way I'm seeing it right now. Okay. Templars are going to cleanse those dots way before they're over for sure. Now that's the only class that can really do it to the best degree. All right, so in this update, we are reevaluating our damage over time standards and cleaning up a lot of the power discrepancies between them. We are stagnating diversity of weapon choice in a lot of areas. Overall, we're trying to improve accessibility of damage production in the game while simultaneously lowering the overall maximum DPS potential when playing super efficiently. As such, we made damage over time effects easier to keep up, in addition to more obvious winners in terms of damage production over a spammable. But now, with the added caveat, they will take longer to deal their damage. This will create situations where damage over time will have much more clear advantages and disadvantages, making it easier to decide when to use to keep up or counter. So that's kind of worrisome, because overall we're trying to improve accessibility of damage production while simultaneously lower the overall maximum DPS potential. Like, I don't have a problem with, like, hey, if you're gonna if you're gonna raise the floor, okay. In my opinion, this is how I would balance dots. I would increase the duration, but I would increase the cost by 25%. Okay, I think that's a fair change. At least you're having to take something away from not just having the burst damage now, but you're having to have a little bit more cost. But I think you're getting punished now pretty much. Like, the amount of effort you've put into the game, and the amount of time you put into doing your rotation is now kind of getting swiped away because they want to increase accessibility for newer players. You know, you can have your opinions on that. whichever way you want. I personally think that people should put in the work for it. Like, it all comes down to, if you don't know how to keep your dots up, if you don't know how to keep your, if you don't know how to light attack weave, this is not going to help you. This is only going to hurt you in your overall damage potential. Like, that's what kind of infuriates me, is because the people that don't know how to do this are not going to benefit from it. The only people that will benefit from this are the people that actually put in the work to get better. Okay, so if you already suck, you're not going to get any better by these changes. You see what I'm saying? So, adjusted the power of player healing over time abilities in tandem with the damage over time changes. So single target healing over time abilities now heal for 1.5 times the damage of a spammable over the duration rather than 1.875. Area effect healing over time abilities now heal for 2 times the damage of a spammable over the duration rather than 1.875. Almost all these abilities will tick once every 2 seconds rather than 2 seconds if they were a single target effect, and 1 second if they were area effect base. Almost all these abilities will now last 10 seconds in duration, while some class skills have been increased to 20 seconds rather than varying durations between 8 and 10 seconds. Individual notes for these effect abilities will be listed under their source skill lines. Since damage over time has been adjusted in this update, it means also we need to reevaluate some of our healing standards as well to ensure they feel properly balanced against one another. In order to preserve more reactive gameplay, our healer and support roles fulfill. We opted to make healing over time effects easier to keep up in most cases, with a few exceptions with class skills. Currently, healing over time feels significantly stronger than damage over time, and we're attempting to address that in a few ways. Sticky healing over time effects that apply to a character will now be weaker than before, while area-based healing over time will be slightly stronger. The logic there is area-based healing currently feels far riskier to engage as it roots you in an area, making you more susceptible to burst and high damaging area of effect attacks, while single target healing effects can stack much easier and allowing for free range of movement. Neither of the adjustments should make healing in PvE environments terribly difficult either, as there is an overall overabundance of overhealing in those encounters, and the boost of area effect healing over time should help improve some skill options. So that's interesting. We'll see what they do. We'll go to the exact, like rapid regen and whatnot. Like, we all know that. I think there's nothing wrong. I think there should be a battle spirit thing. Battle spirit, in my opinion, if they did this would fix a lot of the problems in PvP. If you are playing with like a rapid regeneration and the radiating regeneration, those two morphs, you can only have 2 healing abilities, like only 2 of those skills active at one time. So you can have a rapid regeneration and a radiating regeneration, but you can't have more than those 2. That will do it will incentivize people to pick other heals, and or it will incentivize people to not stack heals as much as they do in PvP. If they did that change alone, where you couldn't just stack the same heal on 17 different people when you're in a ball group of all spamming rapid regeneration and echoing vigor, I think that would fix a lot of the issues in PvP. I really think that would fix it. That would fix Battlegrounds. That would fix Open World Cyrodiil, where you have, a group of people ball grouping, stacking heals. That alone would fix a lot of the issues. Zoss keeps getting on their knees for new players. Just let them learn and stop lowering the skill ceiling. Yeah, I would agree. I think you should take care of your veteran players first and foremost, because everybody was once a scrub. Everybody was once a bad player, and the only reason why they're not a bad player anymore because they got educated, they got more knowledgeable, and they got better at the game. Whenever a game bounces around newer players, or at least new-ish or brand new players, not just like mediocre, mid-tier players, I think that's where most of the balancing should be done. Not even at the tippity top of the highest level, but I think people that probably deal about 80 to 90k DPS in PvE, I think that's a fair estimate of of a majority of the bell curve. You know, at least it's people that have knowledge of the game that can actually do the inputs and know how to play, but also they're not like the top end of players. So like, I think that people that are good in duels, like from a PvP perspective, that's going to be somebody that does well in dueling tournaments. Like, you know, they don't win them, but they do well. They're like a tough fight. You know, they don't just like fall over in 10 seconds, right? But they do take a little bit more time to kill or to fight. That, you know, the Nightblade that's annoying that you can still kill, but he can also kill you, that sort of thing. That type of player. Not just one that hits surprise attack, you know, with Oaken Soul and can rank your face off, right? There's a balance, and I think that should be the ideal person that they're trying to balance around. Not the person that's brand new and not the top end player, but the person that's above average, I would say. But that's just not like a godsend of gamer capabilities. That's my opinion, at least. That's the target audience, or that's in my opinion how you balance the game. Now you can definitely add more incentives for newer players, but I think that should be the perfect player to not even necessarily cater to, but to balance around. Because if you don't get better and you don't try to get better, you're not going to. So why does that matter? You're only just screwing over the people that actually care about the game, in my opinion. So Empower. So the buff now increases light and heavy attacks by 1800 rather than 40%. So the base light attack for melee is 2250 plus 1800. So at max, you're going to be able to hit a 4000 heavy or light attack. That's non-crit, and that's with this. And I think pen does affect this. I'm not sure. I think we'll see. It depends on the availability of Empower that we can get access to in PvP on certain builds, which is going to make or break certain setups, I think. It's going to give them an edge. If you have access to Empower plus high burst, then you're really going to do a lot of damage then. So Dragonite. So here's the class, I guess, adjustments. So Fiery Breath, increase the duration of this ability and is morphs to 20 seconds up from 10. Reduces the damage per tick by approximately 17%. So this was a nerf by 17%. We'll have to see what this looks like on the live or on the PTS and see what it kind of does. So Empowering Chains, increase the duration of the Empower to 10 seconds up from 3. We'll see how this goes. I doubt anybody will use this with a change to Shadow Rocks though. So Molten Whip. I saw this earlier. I think this is a pretty cool change, honestly. So this morph now causes the ability to split the cost to half stamina and half magic. I think I talked about this a long time ago. I'll have to find the clip where I said they should split the cost sometime and try that out and see how it goes. This is definitely a beginning aspect of it's interesting. I mean, I'll give them an A+ for creativity. This will definitely be pretty cool. This is definitely going to go right in line with the hybridization of how DK is played right now. And I think this will more or less benefit the stam DK, honestly. I think Magic DK won't have enough stamina to really sustain this as much as they want to. And I think more DKs are going to go stamina based because of having a bigger stam pool. And also the extra sustain that you're going to get from your dots now. I think overall, this is going to be benefit stam DKs more than Magic DKs. Because Magic DKs, they can probably get around 20k stam at max, but they're really going to sacrifice a lot of recovery for that. But who knows? Then again, with the dot changes, you never know how that kind of play out. With their sustain now. Thanks for the subs, guys. Appreciate that. All right. So reduce the stacking damage bonus to Molten Whip to 20% per stack, down from 33. So this is going to get a 60% increased damage. I think this is more fair. We all knew that Molten Whip is insane. I think I had like 24k tooltips or something like that on Molten Whip. It was absolutely mind-boggling of how much damage you could deal. I think this is a fair change. I really do. I think Molten Whip should be adjusted. This isn't a complete gut either. This is still going to be a strong skill, I think. But they did increase the damage per stack. So you're going to get 300 weapon and spell damage, but you're going to get less scaling, like less percentage base. So I think that's more fair. Interesting. So the weapon and spell damage portion of Seething Fury is no longer consumed when using Molten Whip. How long does that last for? Does that last for 3 seconds? I think it lasts for 3 seconds, huh? The Seething Fury. So if you hit a Flames of Oblivion after the you're gonna be able to keep this up. You'll be able to keep Seething Fury, the extra 300 damage, up on this pretty consistently. I think that's definitely kind of a buff to your healing potential as well. To help this ability become more available to hybrid builders, opted to take a very unique route with the ability where it is now split between magic and stamina. In doing so, we hope to see more unique interactions with the skill, as well as aiding more stamina-focused Dragon Knights and sustaining the skill. I wonder if you run a cost reduction on this, like if you run like a stamina cost reduction, does it also reduce the cost of the magic portion? That would be something to test on the PTS. Searing Heat reduced the damage bonus from this passive to 25%, down from 33%. So nerf the dots a little bit there. Searing Strike increased the duration of this ability in its morph to 20 seconds, up from 10. Reduced the damage per tick by 25%. Embers gets the increased healing amount up to 100% of the damage caused, up from 50%. So this was done to readjust back to where they nerfed it before. But they would still reduce the healing tick. We'll see how this goes. I think this will be more of a feeling based than anything next patch on kind of what heals you for enough and what's going to help you survive. Venom Claw. This morph now increases the damage per tick by 9 to 12%, down from 17 to 20, as it now stacks up longer to a higher value. Okay. So that's interesting. We'll see how that goes. I'll have to look at that on the PTS. Draconic Power, Dark Talons. Reduce the cost of this ability in the Burning Talons morph down to 3780, down from 4050, to help them be slightly more accessible in usability to better account for the fact that the immobilize may fail in many cases. This has been the longest adjusted cost skill, other than maybe Dragon's Blood, I've ever seen. This thing goes up in cost, it goes down in cost, goes up in cost, goes down in cost, goes up in cost, goes down in cost. Oh man, it's been probably at 3700 for the longest time, and then they increased it to 4000 because they buffed combustion, and then they nerfed the cost again, or helped the cost. I don't know. They changed the skill more than Dragon's Blood. Inhale reduced the ability cost to 3510, down from 4050. Originally, this was a higher in cost to account for the fact that its initial hit damaged and healed. But since these values are each half of an area of effect based attack, it wasn't getting additional ability functionality, which dictates cost. So we're easing it back to make up for this oversight. Okay, I don't like that answer. I think that's nitpicking, whatever you want to call it. But originally, this higher cost to account for the initial damage and healing, but since these values are each half of an area of effect base attack, it wasn't gaining additional ability functionality, which dictates cost. So we're easing it back to make up for this oversight. So we're easing it back because we messed up, not because it needs to be there. It's because, like, is that what it sounds like to you guys? That's what it sounds like to me. It's like, oh, we're gonna reduce the cost because oversight. And just because we messed up. Now you'll be able to use Deep Breath like crazy. Protective Scale. Increase the duration of the snare and immobilization to 4 seconds, up from 2. That's going to be pretty good. Spiked Armor. This ability in its morphs now deal flame damage rather than magic damage. That's massive. That's actually kind of big, to be honest, guys. You can probably now run Burning Spellweave Backbar on a Steam DK now with this change. I don't know how much tankier you'd be dropping Trickery or something like that, but you can run like Burning Spellweave and like what you call it. You can run Burning Spellweave and Plaguebreaker, like Burning Spellweave, you know, whatever else you want to run. It's pretty big. Volatile Armor, increase the duration of the damage over time to 20 seconds, up from 10. Reduce the damage per tick of this morph by approximately 33%. Oh well, we'll see how this goes. I think this is a strong skill, but I think the other morph is a little bit better. Ash Cloud. This ability is morphs now last 20 seconds, up from 15. These abilities now tick once every 2 seconds rather than once every second. Increases the cost per tick to 630 to match the frequency adjustments. Increase the healing per tick of this ability by 94%. Okay. Okay, so that's overall, you know, just a across the board, you know, change. Molten Weapons, Igneous Weapons. This morph now extends to 60 seconds, up from 45. That's actually insane. That's actually insane. 60 seconds. You'll never run out of weapon damage buff. Like, what the frick, dude? So what about Minor Brutality? Is that getting changed? Is that getting adjusted to like 60 seconds as well? So Molten Armaments. This morph now grants the caster empower for the duration of the effect, other than increasing the damage of their heavy techs by unique value. I think that this is pretty big. I think that you'll see a lot more staff Dragonites run this morph to increase the damage of their light attacks. Heck, even Stam DKs could possibly run this with the Empower. Because Empower is pretty nasty. Now with the change to light attacks, you're definitely going to want that for extra added burst potential. Petrify. This ability in this morphs now do flame damage rather than magic damage. That's nice across the board. That's really nice right there. I definitely personally like these, the Petrify, and I like the Volatile Armor changes to flame damage. It should have been flame damage from the get-go, honestly. So overall, the DK, as a quick recap, Molten Whip got adjusted 300 damage per stack now. And there's 20% per stack of the Seething Fury, so you get 3 stacks, only going to be 60% damage. But you're going to gain 300 weapons and spell damage whenever you have those stacks. Plus, the stacks are no longer consumed when using Molten Whip. Wait a second. Oh, the weapon and spell damage portion of Seething Fury is no longer consumed. Okay. I was about to say, if you can spam Whip, that's going to be insane. But overall, I like the Molten Whip change. I like the changes here to Volatile Armor to be flame damage and Petrify to be flame damage. And this Molten Weapon is going to be pretty nasty. The DK changes are overall, it's not bad, I would say. But we'll have to really, the main things is the dots. That's really going to be a make it or break it for the Dragonite class. It's how strong and effective are those, you know. We'll have to test the Samsung changes. Oh, we haven't got to that yet. I don't know exactly what they did to it, so I'll hold my judgments for later. We're almost there. So Boneyard. This ability's morphs now tick once every 2 seconds over 20 seconds rather than every 1 second. So increase the damage per tick. All right. Death now. This passive now increases your critical chance by 4 and 8%, up from 2 and 4. This passive now increases your damage over time effects by 5 and 10%, down from 7 and 15. So that's a pretty massive nerf to Rapid Rot. Shocking Siphon got adjusted. Skeletal Mage lasts 20 seconds. Reduce the cost of this ability. Okay. The Arcanist gets the splash damage to 5 meters and increases the damage per tick of the Archer from 15 to 5. So the Death Scythe, the heal over time of this morph now lasts for 10 seconds and ticks once every 2 seconds rather than lasting for 5 seconds. Increase the heal over time to 6.2% of your maximum health, up from 2%. So that's going to be pretty massive for Nice's Scythe build. Pretty big buff to Necros there. at least the melee stamina version. Gravegraphs, the ability and its morphs minor maim now lasts 10 seconds. Ghostly Embrace lasts for 15 seconds. Empowering Grasp, fix the duration of the Empower to 10 seconds. The Empower for pets now increase the damage and healing potential by a flat 1000 rather than 40%. Restoring Tether, increase the healing per tick and the tick radius or the tick duration of that. Spirit Mender. This is a pretty big nerf I saw earlier. No, we're not on Nightblade yet. We're about to get to it. Spirit Guardian. Fix the issue where the transferred damage from this morph was not applying to the Guardian's health, circumventing the risk of the ability ending early in situations you're taking a significant amount of damage over the duration. It will now die after absorbing 3000 total damage, meaning after damage reductions, you can take up to 30,000 damage over time, damage over its duration before it will perish. It's a pretty big nerf to Necros right there. And reduce the healing per tick of this ability and its morphs by 48%, but did not adjust the duration. That is a massive nerf to the Mender. Massive nerf. That is a gut punch to freaking Necros. Freaking survivability. Which is warranted. I will be honest with you. Like, now Necros are only bombers now. Like, this is the only thing that keeping Necros kind of viable. For survivability wise, I never liked their offensive pressure and toolkit. It was always annoying to use. This is the only thing that kept Necros kind of strong with their defensive potential. And this is a pretty massive nerf. Not only the healing reduction by 48%, but also it can now die, the Spirit Guardian. That's pretty big. Okay, tinfoil hat theory, guys. Tinfoil hat. Here it goes. You ready? They're coming out with a new class next year. I'm going to bet my freaking left nut on it. They're coming out with a class next year. Because guess what they did to Warden right before they brought out the almighty Necromancer? Before they did all these combat changes, the reason why they're doing these combat changes now is because that's how the class is designed next year. I bet my left nut on it. What do you guys think? Did they do this with Necromancers came out with the major vulnerability by 30%, right? Okay. And then they streamlined the vulnerabilities by to 15%. So I think this is a segue to a new class. Tinfoil hat right there. I think this is like we're getting a new class. I think I'm like 90% sure we're getting a new class now by just like putting two and two together. Because if they fix servers, then I think they could expand on a new class. So I think this is going to be a new class. This is leading way to a new class next year. So what's the best class to play now? Probably Nightblade. Probably Nightblade. We're going to get into the changes in Nightblade here in a second. They got some very big buffs, and I can't wait to play Nightblade next patch. But yeah, let's see what they do. So Nightblade, Assassination, Assassin's Blade, and Killer's Blade. This morph now causes the execute scaling to change to a linear increase of up to 400% damage done to targets under 50% health, rather than a static 300% damage done to targets under 25% health. So no more running Executioner on the Stand Blade. I'm going to be using Killer's Blade. This is literally like there's no point in not using Killer's Blade now, because it also gives you healing now based off of your highest offensive stats rather than just your maximum health. So there's going to be no reason not to go Killer's Blade on a Stamina Nightblade now. That's pretty big change. Something that I'm excited for personally is the blur change right here. This ability and its morphs now reduce the cost of your next roll dodge by 10% whenever you take direct damage, stacking up to a maximum of 100% with a half-second cooldown between each stack. So blur is So blur is the ability that gives you like, it's like the mirage or the phantasmal escape, I think it's called. So this is going to apply to the base morph of the skill, not to the morphs in general. So not to like one morph or to the other. So when on top of giving you minor resolve and the dodge chance, you're also going to get a cost reduction to your roll dodge with blur. So that's going to be pretty massive. You could definitely see people using this in a more of a heavy armor type of environment with Phantasmal Escape and dropping Elude. So you can probably go with 4 heavy and 3 medium on like a bow 2H or a bow or a 2H dual wield type of Stain Blade. And you could take advantage of this. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. I think this is going to be a more viable skill now. But they reduced the duration of this ability to 20 seconds. No epic. We're about to get on the PTS after we go with these patch notes, though. I won't be able to be on there for long. Probably like an hour, maybe. If that. I got to get off kind of early-ish. It's I got to wake up at like 5:30 tomorrow. But yeah, that's a very big change for Nightblades. Mark target. This ability and its morphs now once again cost magicka rather than having no cost. These abilities will now heal you to full health when marked enemy dies. So full health, it doesn't have a heal on it anymore. It's just going to put you to full health to sweeten the risk versus reward gameplay. The heal ignores battle spirit, but does not ignore other healing reductions or bonuses. So that's pretty big. Reaper's Mark increase the duration of Major Berserk up to 10 seconds, up from 5, since the morph no longer increases the healing done, as that would be unnecessary. That's pretty interesting as well. I mean, it's going to cost, which is kind of annoying now, but... Is Oaken Soul done now? I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I haven't gotten to it. But we'll see. I've I've seen videos, thumbnails, let's just say. Oaken Soul nerfed, you know, this and that. But I'll be the judge of that. But I think Sandblade looking pretty hot next patch. Whenever there is a adjustment to damage, always a class that performs the best is high burst classes. So whenever there's a change to, like, a lot of attacks are getting adjusted, and I believe have actually access to the increase in damage of the light attacks, the empowerment. So I think Nightblade in general is the most safest class to play. You don't have to even gank on the Nightblade. You can just run a high damage build. I'm definitely looking forward to at least these 2 changes alone right here. So Lotus Fan increase the duration of the damage over time to 20 seconds, or reduce the damage per tick by 23%. So Lotus Fan's trash, but the other morph Ambush is pretty good for the stamina. Aspect of Terror. This ability and its morphs now apply Major Cowardice to enemies hit for 10 seconds. Increase the target cap of this ability to 6, up from 3. What irritates me is this has been freaking, like, I remember when every single Nightblade used to use Fear. Every Nightblade. Now they're gonna get Major Cowardice. Does not reduce the enemy's damage by 430. It's the other way of the Major Courage. So it's going to reduce their damage by 430. That also used to give your target minor maim as well. But this has been 3 targets for like 2.5 years. And now it's 6 targets. So like now it's like a shift back. But then they made Surprise Attack stun. But now you could definitely see Nightblades use this next patch for sure. Because it can fear 6 people, and now it's going to apply Major Cowardice, reducing their damage. So that's a pretty massive change. 430 swing and damage is crazy. Mass Hysteria, interesting. Wow. Okay, that's the base morph. Wow. Okay, my bad, dude. This morph now removes the target cap from the ability. This is where it always should have been. What irritates me is they've gutted the skill forever, and then now they're making it god tier again. Oh, it's just so annoying. Anyways, so this is definitely going to be one of the best spheres, one of the best CCs next patch, because spheres are very hard to even notice you're stunned, especially if you get immobilized afterwards. So this is definitely very, very strong right here. This skill is very good for block tanks. Very, very strong. So Manifestation of Terror. This morph no longer fires 2 traps and instead fires 1 trap at your target location, as it was allowing you to effectively double the target cap and step on the morph distinction of massest area. Reduce the duration of traps. Okay, nobody cares. Path of Darkness, 20 seconds. Now it takes every 2 seconds rather than every 1 second. Reduce the damage. Reduce the healing. Dark Cloak. This morph now heals you for 17 to 20% of your missing health per tick, rather than 9.2% of your maximum health per tick. So this still incentivizes a higher health type of gameplay. This could be pretty big for the Stamblade. If you have like 30, like with death dealers, this is going to be really strong. 20% of your missing health. So if you got like 30k health, what is 20% of that? You got like 30,000 health. 20%. So that's going to be 6,000 health. That's actually not too bad, honestly. It's actually not too bad at all. Pretty strong. Summon Shade. This ability now lasts 20 seconds. Increase the damage per hit. Reduce the cost. That's a pretty big change to the cost. That's 3,000 down from 4,000. It's crazy. So overall, that's that one more. Veiled Strike, Surprise Attack. This morph now also critically strikes when flanking an enemy. That's massive for Nightblades. Again, massive for Nightblades. Yes, this would be effective with Battle Spirit. This would be. So you'd be expecting like a 3,000 healing per second. I've seen something about Sork, yeah. I would say this update, what it appears to be, is definitely favoring Stam. I would say, at least from everything so far, from Nightblades to Necros and DKs. Concealed Weapon. This morph now passively grants you minor expedition, which is pretty big. That's 10%. Movement speed. This morph now also increases your weapon spell damage by 300 for 15 seconds after leaving sneak or invisibility. So this is definitely, I read this earlier, this is a very good change to Concealed Weapon. This is definitely going to make it a little bit more viable to use. I think that pairing this up with Stygian on a mag blade now, heck, even a Stam blade could kind of use this now, to be honest with you, with Stygian and going Concealed Weapon. But I think you're overall going to benefit more from Surprise Attack. But this definitely leaves some leeway for mag blades to make it come back now, to be a little bit more viable. So yeah, that's pretty big. I think this is definitely help mag blades quite a bit. Cripple. This ability in this morphs now lasts 20 seconds. Reduce the damage per tick of these abilities by approximately 23%. Crippling Grasp. This morph now also reduces the cost to 2,700, down from 2,970. Increase the duration of minor mending from that, or major mending from that skill. So overall, Nightblades are pretty massively buffed. Nightblades are a lot stronger now, I think, than they, like, subtracting Oakensoul. Like, if you extrapolate Oakensoul out of the argument, and Calrians, Nightblade is not a very strong class. Now with these changes, they'll be a little bit better, I think. But if you add in Oakensoul and Calrians, they're strong, like, right? So, now this will definitely help. That's true, FX. That's definitely true. I think that this is a... I would like to see a guarantee critical strike, though. That's kind of crazy. Guarantees a critical strike, dude. Oh, no, man. We'll have to see, though. I think the Nightblade's definitely... did they deserve the buffs? Who knows? But I think if you take away Oakensoul and Calrian's, Nightblades are kind of middle of the row type of class. They're nothing crazy. Stamblade is definitely the best of the two, just because of stamina and survivability. Siphoning. So Cripple. I already talked about that one. So let's go to Sorcerers. You guys haven't talked about Sorks. What they do to poor old Sorky Porky. Crystal Weapon. Reduce the damage of this ability by 41%, so that it now does 130% of a range spammable attack between both attacks, rather than 200% of a melee spammable. Reduce the costs to make up for the above adjustments. That's a 70% damage nerf. Wow, that's pretty massive, dude. Oh, man. I would go 150, honestly, but man. That's pretty crazy. What they did not tell you about Crystal Weapon is it now pulls you out of stealth if you cast it. Really? That's dumb. In the previous update, we want to help reinforce the uniqueness of this morph by giving sorcerers the ability to change the rotation of a spammable that persists through other active or ability activates through other ability act. I guess I can't even English today. While we succeeded in this, not adjusting the damage of this morph causes it to spiral out of control in terms of raw DPS and burst potential. After spending a lot with time testing, we believe we hit a sweet spot where the morph brings some unique and powerful, but without nothing over the top. Daedric Mines fiction issue where this morph could detonate instantly on a target multiple times. That's where you can go into a corner and stack mines. That's been a thing for years at this point. Dark Exchange and its morphs now restore the resources in increments of 2 seconds, up from 1. Reduce the healing of these abilities down from 8,000 or to 8,000, down from 8,090. So not too big of a change there. This morph now increases the amount of healing and resources restored rather than reducing the cost. As a result, the cost is now 3,240. It now recovers up to 10,000 health and immediately restores 4,500 magicka and 3,000 over the duration. That's definitely a good change to Sorks. Dark Deal increase the cost of this morph just a little bit, and this morph now also causes the secondary resource return to be 20 seconds. So overall, this is a decent change to Sork, I guess. Nightblade's a goated spirit right now, and this next update, Nightblade's nasty looking like. I think Nightblade's cream of the crop again. I mean, it's always been solid, but you know, it's getting a few buffs next patch for sure. And I think with the light attack nerf, I think Nightblade's going to be one of the best classes to play for burst potential. Like, I think a lot of people are going to flock to Nightblade next patch just because of how much tankier people are going to get on other classes. But Nightblade's going to be the only class that can really pressure people, especially with the change to fear, being able to stop people from blocking and whatnot. I think that's pretty crazy. Oh, that is true. That is true, isn't it, Epic? Yes. So the duration of the recovery, yes, that is exactly true. I didn't think about that. Okay. So here's something to take into account, right? Whenever you're playing Stamsork, okay, and you hit your Dark Deal, you're hitting maybe 2 or 3 casts. And then in about 15 seconds, 10-15 seconds, then you're hitting your Dark Deals again, right? Well, now with this Dark Deal change, now you're going to get the resources over 20 seconds. So that means if you hit Dark Deal and then you wait 20 seconds, you're going to get the full value. But if you hit Dark Deal like now in this patch, you're going to get all the resources back in 10 seconds. That is pretty big. That is a massive nerf to sustain actually for Stamsorks. It is a pretty massive change. Because you don't let you're gonna hit Dark Deal more than once every 20 seconds. So you're gonna lose access to the extra sustain for sure. The recovery portion. At least half of it. Bound Armor and Bound Aegis. So you now get minor protection for 10 seconds after casting it. Okay, cool. Bound Armaments. So reduce the damage per hit of this ability by approximately 38%. Wow, that's freaking crazy nerf, dude. And this ability no longer passively increases your light attack damage. That's a pretty massive nerf to good old bound armaments. This skill was good for about 2 patches. Per hit, 38% per hit. That's crazy. Man, they gutted bound armaments, dude. That's dookie. That's dookie now. That's probably going to be hitting for less than like 600. Oh man, that's nasty. Empowered Ward. This is more also grants you minor endurance as well. Interesting than a max. Interesting. Summon Eyr0n, reduce the duration of this ultimate, and it's morphed to 15 seconds, down from 21. The base cost is increased to 275. Okay. Nothing crazy there. So that's pretty big. Freaking Eyr0n has been super strong forever. So yeah. Summon Unstable Familiar. Okay, Wing Twilight. Reduce the damage per hit. Reduce the special ability. Increase the damage done to targets above 50%. Okay. Lightning Form, Hurricane. This morph now increases in damage by 12% per tick, up from 8. Along with the frequency adjustments, this will reduce the total maximum to 120%, down from 160. Lightning Splash. This ability and its morphs now deal damage every 2 seconds over 20 seconds, rather than every 10 seconds. Increase the damage per tick, and these abilities now properly tick one final time before ending. So Sorks got gutted. Straight up, Sorks got massively nerfed. That's pretty big. So Sorks are dookie. Again, like, you may as well put your Sork in the trash. Like, Stam Sork was a viable setup, but like Mag Sork is still not even good, dude. Still not even good, bro. And we have not gotten to Warden yet. We're just getting to Templar now. Burning Light. This passive now triggers after dealing damage with any attack rather than only Adric's Spear. That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay. That's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Increase the cooldown of stack generation to 500 milliseconds, up from 1 milliseconds. So you can only proc Burning Light every 2 seconds now? That's dookie, bro. Every 2 seconds, bro. Oh, man, bro. That is a massive nerf to Templars, dude. 2 seconds on... 2 seconds on jabs? Wow. So that means you're going to get 1 less tick, plus you're going to only be able to proc your Burning Light once every 2 seconds. Well, they're changing puncturing sweeps. Yeah, we haven't got to that yet. I didn't even read that yet, but I knew about it. That's pretty big. Yeah, that's pretty hefty nerf. Burning Light is what added a lot of burst to Templar. So how long does Purifying Light last? Like 8 to 10 seconds, if that. So at max, you're only going to get like 5 ticks of You're only going to get 5 ticks of Burning Light now? That's crazy. Like, I could see like 250 milliseconds, but not 2 seconds, bro. 2 seconds? That's crazy on jabs, man. Yeah, well, I'll show you guys the new animations. We'll get on those here in a minute. But Templar, looking right now, it's pretty nerfed. Currently, this passive is strong, arming the Templar into only using puncturing sweeps as your okay. So if you don't use puncturing sweeps now, you could definitely use like a force pulse or a dot focused Templar now, like with force pulse and whatnot. That could be the new way to play Plar, honestly, or just go a bow Plar. Now think about bow Plar now. Oh man, dude, think about bow Plar now, dude. Dude, think about, oh man, Boplar. Oh goodness gracious. That's gonna be nasty, dude. Boplar is looking like the new Magplar, dude. Hold up, that's pretty crazy. Because now you're gonna be able to proc Burning Light on all of those ticks of like your bow ultimate pretty consistently on that 2 seconds. That's pretty crazy. I think the Boplar is still top notch. Boplar will be better than the Bowsork next patch for sure. So Puncturing Strikes, this ability in this Dwarfs now hit 3 times over the channel of 800 milliseconds rather than 4 times over 1 second. So only 3 times rather than 4. So 250 milliseconds was the increments before. Now it's 3 times over 800 milliseconds. So that is it's a little bit less. It's 0.16 milliseconds less or more time. This is a drop in. This is less damage for sure. Implemented a new animation, reduced the costs of this ability just a little bit, reduced the overall damage of the primary attack by 21%. Increased the damage of the area of effect by 7%. Reduced the duration of the snare down to 0.5. That's a pretty big change to Puncturing Sweeps. They reduced the healing. Okay, so reduce the healing. So Body Jab, this morph now also increased the damage of area of effect portion by 25% in addition to the base 7% increase. That's pretty big for Stamplars. Pretty big for Stamplars. I think, okay, this is a nerf to Magplar, but this is a buff to Stamplar. What was wrong with Stamplars? What is wrong with Stamplars? They're tied to that freaking 1 second animation. This will definitely help Stamplars, but it's also going to increase the DPS, so it's going to be 32% more damage, area of effect increase. So this is going to be a good buff for Stamplars, but a nerf to Magplars. I think this is, Stamplars could use some love as well, because one of the biggest issues on Stamplar was you go offensive in that short window, and you could get counterbursted in your jabs while you're going offensive, and it kind of left you open. I think having a little bit quicker animation could definitely help the Stamplar out, but we'll definitely see. That's just kind of my first interpretations of it. Spear Charge, this ability in this morphs now deal damage once every 2 seconds, over 20 seconds, increase the damage per tick by 33%. Purifying Light. This morph heals and takes every 2 seconds, over 10 seconds rather than over 6 seconds, and reduce the healing per tick. Solar Flare, increase the duration of the Empower granted to 5 seconds. So Solar Barrage now lasts for 20 seconds, reduce the damage per tick by 24%. So the visual pulse is only visible whenever you're dealing damage. Sunfire, this ability now lasts for 20 seconds, up from 10, reduce the damage per tick by 25%. And Vampire's Bane, this won't now increase the duration of effects by up to 10 seconds, up from 4. Okay, Cleansing Ritual, this ability now lasts 20 seconds, up from 12. This ability now tick 1 extra time over the duration, reduce the healing per tick by 3%. Okay, Ritual Retribution, reduce the damage per tick by 52%, but this dwarf now increases 12% damage per tick, up from 5. This will be good in PvE, but not in PvP. I've always wanted to try to use Ritual Retribution, but it's never compared to Cleansing Ritual. Hasty Prayer gets 10 seconds, up from 5. Restoring Aura, this ability and the Radiant Aura now grant minor endurance, minor fortitude, and intellect to you and nearby allies for 20 seconds rather than applying minor magic or steel to enemies. It will still passively get these buffs for slotting the ability as well. Radiant Aura, this morph now extends the duration of effects to 60 seconds. That's pretty crazy. That's crazy. Like, that's crazy, dude. So they're also making it to where dots are cheaper, but now or not cheaper, but the same cost, but lasting twice as long. But now they're also adding in different areas of sustain. This is going to be a high sustain patch. High sustain for no reason. There's going to be no... people aren't going to run out of resources next patch. It's going to be so easy not to run out of resources. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. When you have people that don't have to invest in resources anymore and resource sustain, people that are tankier are going to get people that are tankier are going to get tankier, and people that deal damage are just going to deal even more damage. You think that would counterbalance between each other, but what ends up happening is the tankier people just don't run out of resources, so they'll never die. And if you're playing a high damage build, you're going to be squishy inherently, or at least to some degree squishy. So if you're going up against a tanky person, and you just get zerged down, you're pretty much screwed. So advanced species, this passive now increases your armor penetration by 990 per animal companion skill slotted rather than damage done. That's pretty interesting. Cutting dive, this morph now triples the status effect proc chance of the attack and causes the ability cost to be refunded when hitting an off-balance enemy rather than a stacking bleed. That's pretty interesting. Screaming Cliff Racer, this morph now increases your weapon and spell damage by 100 for 10 seconds after hitting an enemy and increases by an additional 200 when hitting an off-balance enemy, rather than increasing its damage by 50%. That could definitely be some nice changes to the Warden right there. Falcon Swiftness, this ability in his morphs now also grant 4 seconds of snare and immobilization immunity after activating. So we're going to get rid of Pink's boots and we're going to put on her with Falcon Swiftness, I think. Scorch. This ability in his morphs now lasts for 10 seconds in total, detonating once after 4 seconds and again 6 seconds after that. What the fuck? What? This ability in his morphs now lasts for 10 seconds in total, detonating once after 4 seconds and again 6 seconds after that, rather than once every 3 seconds. They reduce the damage by 8% and increase the cost. What the frick, dude? That is not, bro. That is dookie. Sub Assault, this morph now reduces the time it takes each damage event to occur, causing the damage to occur after 3 seconds and 5 seconds after that. Wow. So subs is dookie. Straight up dog trash. Throw it away. Bro. That is bad. That is bad. It's so bad. It's bad. It's so bad. Oh my goodness. That is terrible. That is so slow. That is so slow. So slow. So slow, dude. Oh, man. That's a terrible change. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Swarm. This ability in his morphs now lasts for 20 seconds, up from 10. Decrease the damage per tick. So Fletcher Infection. Wild Guardian. The bear from this ultimate in his morphs now attack once every 2 seconds instead of mixture of timers. That should make the bear a little bit more viable. The active ability Guardian's Wrath now has a 700 millisecond cast time for the bear, not your own cast. So this would probably match up the animation and reduces the desync potential of the attack. Have things gotten better? I would just watch, wait, and see. I would just watch, wait, and see. I would say, as of right now, no. Just watch streams, watch the game from afar, but don't play it. You can watch. I would watch, but I wouldn't play. If I'm being honest. If I'm being honest with you guys, I'm looking at other games to play right now. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, I'm looking at other games to play. And it's kind of scary. I mean, like, I still want to keep the community that I have, but I understand that most of you guys are here for the ESO content, right? But I'm seriously looking at other games to play. I've been looking at Dead by Daylight. I've been looking at a few PC games, but I still want to be able to play with Pink as much as I can too. And that's what's definitely going to have to be a balance. But I'm definitely looking at other games for sure. I've been looking at other PC games. So I'm just going to be straight and upfront and honest with you guys. Budding Seed increases the healing per tick. Arctic Wind. So here, what do they do to this? This ability and the Polar Wind Morph no longer deal damage. What? Okay, let's just keep reading. The healing over time effects now takes once every 2 seconds, over 10 seconds rather than once every 5 seconds. Increases the healing per tick of your maximum health by 6%, up from 2.5. Okay. This morph now causes the initial heal over time to target an additional ally. Increase the healing over time by 20%. So Arctic Blast, this morph now causes... Yes! Let's go, dude! Let's go, bro! Let's go, dude! Let's go! Arctic Blast, this morph now causes the initial heal to scale off your offensive stats rather than your maximum health. Let's go, bro! But here's the stupid part. Now, you're not going to play Warden anyways because freaking Beatles is freaking getting changed. Read the rest. Oh, okay. I got excited about that real quick. The morph now causes the heal over time to be converted to a damage over time. The morph no longer ranks up in cost reduction. The morph now stuns on the second and final ticks rather than requiring it hitting the same target 5 times in succession. The stun is no longer unblockable. That's pretty big. So this morph now stuns on the second and final ticks. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. I've talked about this for a while for the... Okay, that's not bad. Okay. It's usable. It's usable because now it's going to give you the burst heal based off of your offensive stats. It's going to stun on the second and final tick. So you're going to have 2 iterations of being able to stun people. Plus, it's not long. It's unblockable now. So that's pretty big. That's definitely going to throw a wrench into a few things. But I think it's better. I think people don't block this anyways. So it really won't be noticeable. I think that this is okay. But I think now it's just pissing in the wind now because Scorch is gone. Nobody's going to use that anymore, so that's ridiculous. Like playing Warden without using Beetles is going to be fun. Range Magden, yeah. I mean, but that kind of defeats the purpose of using Arctic Blast now because it's going to be damage over time. Wait, if it's a damage over time on the target, then that's very interesting, but we'll see. We shall see. Okay, fixes numerous visual errors with this ability. Fixing an issue with the third projectile would fail to visually appear in many cases. The morph no longer has a 500 millisecond cooldown, as it will allow its ability to sometimes absorb more than 3 projectiles. I wouldn't say Warden is useless now, but their changes to Beetles is stupid. Frozen Armor increases the amount of armor granted from this passive to 990, so that's a nice little buff there. Increase the duration of Ice Fortress to 30 seconds. That's pretty nice. Impaling Shards. Okay, nobody cares. Scorch are definitely useless in beat. Pretty much. Unless you can time it up with some type of burst. All right, so that's all the class changes. Overall, DKs are okay. Sorks are terrible. Necros got gutted. Wardens got gutted. Nightblades is the only thing that got kind of buffs. Sorks are terrible. Templars got nerfed. Everything got nerfed except for Nightblade. Everything got nerfed. I've not seen a resolving vigor yet. No. Volley. This ability is morph down lasts for 20 seconds. Increase the damage per tick. Poison arrow lasts for 20 seconds. Wall of elements. Okay. Okay. Frost clinch got a little bit of a range boost and a little bit more cost. Okay. Flurry. This ability is morphs now hit 4 times over channeled over time of 800 milliseconds rather than 5 times over 600 milliseconds. The total damage remains relatively same over the channel time. These abilities now have completely new animations. Rapid strikes. This morph now increased the damage done on the next hit by 5% per stack, up from 3%. Reduced the cost. But there's fixed an issue where the heal was considered magicka rather than stamina base. Twin slashes, the dot is now 20 seconds. Blood craze. Blade cloak is now 20 seconds. Okay, this morph quick cloak now adds 10 seconds for the duration, up from 4. So is that gonna be? What about the expedition from that one skill? Before Necro, yeah, Necro's got deleted. Necro's a dookie now. Deadly Cloak reduced the damage per tick of this morph by approximately 41%. So Dual kind of got nerfed across the board. So Grand Healing, this ability is morphs now heal once every 2 seconds, over 10 seconds rather than once every 8 seconds. Increases the healing per tick by 100%. So this definitely could be pretty powerful for healers now to use in PvP. Regeneration. Reduce the healing per tick of this ability and this morphs by 40%. So rapid regeneration. This morph now also increases the healing done by up to 50% on targets under 100% health. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. Burning Slashes got a big buff, did it? Did it really? That's okay, I guess. It's okay. It's just not going to be as strong over time, though. If werewolves get nerfed, I have no clue yet. We're just going through the... We just got through the class changes, and now we're going through the weapon changes. But I think this may help a little bit. But since healing is going to last so long now, I don't know how massive that change is going to be. We'll have to test it and see what it's going to be like on the PTS. Reduce the damage per tick of this morph by approximately 40%. Crit charge. Decrease the damage per tick by 33%. Forceful increases the splash damage. Okay, cool. Uppercut. Increases the empowerment. Heavy armor. Fixed an issue. World. Soul magic. Soul trap. Lasts for 20 seconds. Werewolf. So this ability in this morphs now lasts for 20 seconds, up from 10. Reduce the damage per tick by approximately 17%. Claws of Life reduce the amount of healing based on damage done to 66%, down from 100, since it can instantly apply area effect. Significantly more healing than other morphs of its like. This morph now causes the entire ability to apply the disease status effect. Wow, that's pretty interesting for that's crazy pressure. Okay, Fighters Guild Circle Protection. Okay, nobody cares. Turn Evil. Reduce the duration of the fear to 4 seconds at max rate, down from 5. Trap Beast. Okay. Nobody cares about these. Structure Entropy. Increase the coefficient of the healing portion of this morph by approximately 9% to match the damage coefficient. Accelerate. Increase the cost. Increase the duration of Minor Force to be 60 seconds instead of tripling to 36. That's pretty crazy. Increase the duration of the snare and immunities to 4 seconds. That's pretty nice as well. That's a pretty good change, I think, overall to PvP in general. Is Race Against Time. Orbs changed. Okay. Caltrop 6. This ability is worth now tick once every 2 seconds over 20 seconds. Okay, Vigor. This ability now lasts 10 seconds of base, up from 8. Reduce the healing per tick of Echoing Vigor by approximately 17%. So Resolving Vigor. Reduce the healing per tick of this morph by 22%. This morph now also grants major... Wait a second. What now? This gives you major resolve. 17% plus 22%. Okay. It's kind of redundant. So now what will end up happening to survive? So you're going to have to run the Vigor. Okay. 1.5k in PvE, that's dookie. Hey, healing needed to be nerfed, didn't it? It did. We'll adapt to it, I think. 700 in PvP? You're joking, aren't you? Golly, 700, bro. 700. It is now the best armor buff, huh? Pretty decent. I mean that's a good change, I guess. But the heal is terrible. 5k weapon damage, yeah, that's pretty, that's not high, but it's average. Charge trait, reduce the trait's maximum value. Okay. So that's a good nerf, I think. Dark Cloak, Malevolent Offering, and Vigor. Probably and Rally. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Some adjustments. Iron Blood. This set now grants major protection, major Aegis, and minor protection for 10 seconds when it activates, rather than reducing your damage taken by 30%. Reduces the snare potency to 25%. Reduce the cooldown to 10 seconds. So this is a massive nerf to the Iron Blood fans. Iron Blood fans, the freaking Turtle Boys. Yeah, Rally didn't change, did it? So, the Rally's still going to last for 20 seconds. That's okay. So the unique buff of the Turtle Boys is gone. Even though there wasn't a whole lot of people that used it on console anyways. It was mainly like a PC thing. Noble Duelist. The set now increases your damage done with light and heavy attacks against monsters by 2,110, rather than increasing their weapon's spell damage scaling, since they don't have any scaling. This says monsters. That doesn't say players. Does Noble Duelist no longer work in PvP? It says monsters. Monsters aren't players, so. Savage Werewolf. This set now only procs off of light attacks when you are using within melee range, instead of light and heavy attacks from range. This set now takes once every 2 seconds instead of 1 to reduce the situation where this could tick twice instantly. Okay. Sergeant's Smell. This set has been reworked to now grant you a stack of Sergeant's Focus for 5 seconds whenever you do damage with a heavy attack. Increase your damage done of your heavy attacks by 645 per stack. Okay. Increases your damage done to light and heavy attacks against monsters. So again, only against monsters. So the only thing Sergeant's Mail does against players, I think, as of right now. Monster Mask. Mythic items. This set now grants minor versions of Courage, Berserk, Force Protection, Heroism, rather than major versions. And this set now also grants minor Mending. So the original intent of this set was to improve accessibility of 1-bar builds by providing many bonuses that you would get from running extra abilities on your back bar, and a few other name sources that may come from coordinated groups to help for the flexibility and specialization loss of having 5 ability choices instead of 10. While we did see the suggestions we're incorporating now, we didn't want to go too hard on the set after the heavy nerfs to the original form without some more concrete metrics and evidence, which we have gathered since Update 34 had launched. We now feel comfortable that the set will be incredibly impactful for its target audience, but is much in a... That is a freaking... Oh my... That's a bait and switch at its finest, dude. Oh my goodness, that is the biggest freaking bait and switch I've ever seen. That's like, while we did see it, we had a chapter to release, so we didn't nerf it all the way because we wanted to sell the chapter. I mean, I don't blame them. It sold the chapter for like everybody, and it's getting nerfed 1 patch later. Wow. I mean, it's an ingenious move, but it's... Instead of, like... Real talk, from like a long time ago, back in like 2017 ESO, when I used to play... back in the day, there was a set called Hunding's Rage. Have you guys ever heard of that? Probably like 3 people in chat has heard about Hunding's Rage. Well, at a time, Hunding's Rage... You use that set in PvE and in PvP. And that set lasted probably at the tip top of the meta until like more Colden, and until like sets like Ravager and sets like 7th Legion and sets like Black Rose, all the sets came out. Hunding's Rage was literally the most like widely used stamina set in the game, and you could use that set for like any class on any build, and it was literally meta for like a year and a half. Okay, and now we're at a time to where like gold mats back in the day, I remember they used to be like tempering alloys when they just hit like freaking 20k each on console. It was crazy. That was when all the new updates started to come out. But before, tempering alloys were very cheap, and like you didn't have to make, like, once you got Hunding's Rage on a PvP build, you could run that on a Stamblade, you could run that on a Stamplar, you could run that on a freaking Stamsork. It didn't matter. You could run Hunding's Rage on any build, and you did perfectly fine. But now, like, every single update, there's like a new best set, there's a new Ulkin Soul, there's a new busted, overpowered, broken thing. So they've already sold the chapter. So now they don't have... now, as you notice, there's not broken, overpowered sets in this update, at least that I've seen so far. So that's nice, but they've already sold the chapter, so they don't have to sell anything crazy. So Dark Convergence increased the cooldown on the set to 25 seconds, up from 15. Help reduce the frequency, and when it can introduce ultimate-like effects to the battlefield. Hrothgar can no longer be blocked. Plague Break. This set now has a cooldown of 20 seconds per target, rather than only against targets that do not already have the dot on them. This effect now proc on multiple enemies from a singular attack. Reduce the damage of this set by 48%, but this damage can now critically strike as it doesn't have ingrained modifiers built into it. Increase the damage of the explosion by 3%. The damage of the set now always applies disease status effect. That'll be interesting. I think that's kind of a bit of a nerf, though. But, however, you can apply this multiply. Like, you could... If you go for, like, a wombo combo, Plague Break, like, Soul Tether, Whirling Blades, then that's going to bust on a lot of people, right? So yeah, Plague Break and Occult Overload is nasty with this change. Even though the damage over time is nerfed, but the burst damage is still going to be good for bombing. Alliance War in PvP. Increase XP gain from killing monsters and players in PvP by 10%. Increase the XP gain from quest. Oh, nice. We can go level up. Increase the monster density in Avatar Pact 1, 2, and... okay, cool. Fix faction. Da, 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 da. Is that it? It was a long patch notes, guys. Wow. We're done. Okay. We're done, finally. Okay. All right. So the things that stuck out to me were the DK hybridization changes on Whip, the changes on Nightblade, the nerfs to Sork. Those are some big changes. Obviously, the healing and the dot changes. I just don't know if the bad outweighs the good of what they did do. They did some good things, but they also did some bad things baked into the pie. It's like you have like a nice apple pie with all the ingredients, but then you get like a turd and throw in there. And that turd is like you're eating the apple pie and you're tasting the turd, and you're like wondering if this is like it's too much bad to not. It's like you make the best apple pie, but you're throwing in turds. You know, like the change to Arctic Blast is crazily good up until the cost reduction. Yeah, let's get on the PTS real quick. For like maybe, I don't know, maybe like 30-40 minutes. I gotta get off probably soon though. Gotta sleep. Hold on a second. Elder Scrolls are not responding. Can you guys see the game? Okay. All right, we're loading it up. Let's get on the PTS real quick. Hey, babe, how you doing, Pinky? You want to hop on Discord? Warden is super dead. Yeah, it looks like it. All right. So let's look at the animations first. I was wanting to test some Stamblade. I made a character earlier when I downloaded the PTS. Let's look at the changes on the Templar. So I'll probably be going with the Stamplar. If I had to choose with the changes now, I'd probably go with the Khajiit. Khajiit with Mech Acuity on the Templar. But I do want to look at the animations. I need to get my it's 3 controller. All right. Okay. Let's do my fun stuff here. Combat. I hate having to do this every single time. So what do you guys think about the changes? I mean, most of you guys think it's bad, I know. I'm going to give this a fair try. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to give this a fair and honest assessment. I'm going to give the Zilla state of approval or not. What it looks like right now, in my opinion, the game is turning casual, full on, full course. So if you are a casual player that doesn't know how to light attack weave, you're still going to suck with your DPS. It's not going to change anything. So, I mean, I'm not being mean or anything, but your best way to get better is to actually improve at the game and not think the Zos are going to come to your safety or save you, because they're not. They are nerfing everything. All right. Cursor. Bad mode. Mayhem is at the month's end, by the way. I think that'll be the last time I play ESO. I mean, to some degree, I think that'll be it. If these changes go live. Okay. Hopefully my controller doesn't keep disconnecting. All right, there we go. Look at the changes of jabs real quick. What the frick? What the frick? What the frick is that, dude?
Stranger, those stockade ruffians hauled away my husband. Can you help me?
What is that, bro? All right, let me get. Oh, okay, that was funny. That was funny. Jabs look ugly. I mean, I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. Jabs look ugly. Let's PTS and messages. Let's travel to this guy's house real quick. Check ambush. All right, we'll check it real quick. Oh man. Like don't get me wrong. I get the sentiment of changing the jabs and changing the duration of it, like to make it shorter. But that animation looks like the sound doesn't coincide with the damage. I gotta see it. I gotta see it what it looks like when it's hitting a target or something. I gotta see it. That is okay. Hitting a target, it looks better. Okay. It looks okay. It looks a little bit better. Okay. Maybe we're overreacting a little bit. That looks okay. That is a little bit faster though, we'll say. Okay, that looks fine. I think the jobs look okay. I gotta be honest. It looks okay. Looks alright. Looks alright. I gotta be honest. It's okay. Flurry looks worse. We'll check Flurry. That just looks weird. The sound didn't change though. Did you hear that? That's what it is. That's what's throwing it off. That's what it is. The issue with jabs is the sound. The sound hasn't been updated yet. That's why it sounds like trash. We're gonna go with. What are the new sets looking like? What do they even look like? Yeah, let's go get Michael Tower Essence Thief on the plar real quick. Look at some dual wield maces. Here comes the error boxes. Yeah, dude, that's annoying. Okay, errors, bro. Stop it. Goodness gracious. Irvin, I don't know what. It's hard to really tell the damage unless you have something to compare it to. They changed calories as well, didn't it? What do you mean? Well, they changed that to sprint. I didn't see anything change the calories, which is funny. That thing should have been nerfed 3 years ago. Oddish attacks used to hit for around 7k in PvE, then half for 2. Yeah. Alright, let's check it out. What the frick is that, dude? Okay, that doesn't look terrible. Doesn't look terrible. I think it's better than what we got. I like that more. As long as they fix the Now I will say that the weapons get in the way of the damage numbers. That doesn't look too good. Got it from other angle. They changed calories? Did they really or no? You guys got me worried about calories. They did. Wow. Dude. What? What do they do to Calorians? What? Yo. Shadow nerf to Calorians. I don't know if the Calorians, huh? Yeah, procs every 5 seconds out of the S. No, I don't think it's the same damage. Obviously, it wouldn't be the same damage. I at least hope Zos wouldn't be so stupid to do that. It procs once every 5 seconds. But the damage looks halved. I mean, it's not... Unless they adjusted the tooltip, I don't know. I don't have nothing to compare it to. But Calorians now procs once every 5 seconds. I know, but what I'm saying is if they... Sure, if they can proc more often, that's fine, but... It can now proc once every 5 seconds. That looks so funny. It hits 4 times. Oh, that's maybe the assassin effect. That doesn't sound too bad though. They need to fix the sound animations on sweeps. They need to test the sound animation on sweeps though. That's it. The max light attack was 3,800. I don't have any gear on anyways, so it doesn't really make a difference. I want to test the Bowplar though. For 2,057 damage on live. Okay, let's look at let's get on my Nightblade then. Let's test Calrians. Let's look at Calrians. I'll put on my clever Calrians build. Yeah, the error spam was fun. Facts. I need to do my keybinds for this real quick. Controls. Sprint. Weapon swap. Uncle cursor. That's it. Alright, let's work Khajiit now on the Nightblade. Let's get some stuff from the Crown store real quick. Let's get all the DLC. Yes. The new jab animation looks wonky. Scroll back about like 5 minutes and we looked at jabs. I didn't test the damage, but we were just on a new character. I didn't test the damage though. But we'll see. We'll test it here in a little bit. This is just like initial testing. This was the shadow nerf to Calrians that I'm curious about looking at. Maybe a shadow nerf. I don't know yet. I can look at my build video and I could tell what my Calrian skill tip is. We went over Sork, yes, a little bit earlier. We went over the changes to Sork. It's pretty abysmal on Sork, to be honest with you. Clean up buy crates on the PTS. All right. Armor. Dungeon sets. Light dungeon. Calrians. So we need jewelry and weapons and the belt. Necklace ring. Weapons, we got 2 maces. Okay, so Calrians. Cowrians. Then we got crafted sets. That's DLC crafted, isn't it? It's in Gold Coast or Hughes Vein, one of the two. Clever Alchemist. So we need medium weapons. And that's it. No jewelry, no heavy armor. The medium is going to be the hands, the legs, that. Weapons is going to be a two-handed great sword. Lever. 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 So we're going to go... Okay, let's go Nirnhone, main hand. Yeah, there was a shadow nerf to count, or maybe a shadow nerf to Cowrians. I don't know yet. They changed Cowrians to once every 5 seconds now. That's pretty big. Fitted. 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 Let's get some more transmutation crystals, wherever those are. Probably in Ultimate Crafting Crate. Alchemist, that. Travelers. My Cowrians on live server was close to 19 to 20k. Definitely a shadow nerf to Cowrians, if so. I mean, it's not really a nerf, technically. If it can proc once every 5 seconds now, it's going to proc more often. But overall, it still is an adjustment. I need to get some blacksmith. Let's go ahead and take all of those. Chromium plating. Wax. Actually, we need all of these, huh? Let's get I can get all these. Blacksmith crate. Okay. Let's put some freaking stuff in the bank then. Rocks is off in its Ash and Grip. You're going all in the bank there, sir. Get out of here. I changed the thingy on the bottom there, on the look of it. Alright, so let's go to reconstruct gallant chain. Well, first let's get the mythic. I guess let's go with Majesty to keep things consistent. I think we have 1 swift and 2 infused, I believe. On the gosh, can I there we go away, please? So right now we're looking at the adjustment to Cowrians. See if it's actually a nerf or not. If it's a 10k, I don't think it's a nerf. No, I don't have ESO Plus on the PTS. I need to get a bug eater add-on. Yeah, there's probably an add-on for that, huh? I don't play on PC, so I don't have any of these add-ons you speak of. But it's kind of sad you have to have add-ons to freaking play the game. I get annoyed. Let's see if this is a medium attack. We got that. Let's go with well fitted. I want to test that and see if it's I want want to test this and see if it's a medium attack or not, because that's powerful right there. If that's gonna be that's gonna be like, you know, that's gonna be crazy. So we're gonna also test Balor, just regular old Balor too. Yeah, I play on console. Is it worth it to go 5 medium on Magplar? It just depends on your build and how much sustain you got, honestly. If you got enough sustain, then you could try it, but the buff's okay, but I wouldn't say it's anything crazy. That freaking helmet's not been rendered in yet. How's it, guys? So we got... well, let's focus. It's not going to look like this on a live server, I can tell you that right now. I'm going to kind of try to keep it as controlled as possible with the changes. I didn't want to check out Blur. Use the cost. That's pretty nice. So both of those do that, huh? Probably what would be better to go with? Probably Mirage would be better. Okay. Right. Two-handed. Did they do anything to rally? I didn't do nothing to rally, so that's nice. Vigor got gutted, remember? I guess we could probably go with Mirage instead of Elude, but then we don't have access to... No, we do have access to that. We can go with we can go with yeah. Go. The tip is dookie cheeks. 11,000, that's terrible. My goodness. Race against time is what I need next. Check. We got... I think I used the City Gold. $2,200 vigor, that's crazy. Alright, let's get on my... I don't have any attributes then, do I have? I do have my Khajiit passives on though. Alright. So I need to do glyphs. Transmute. Infused. Transmute. Infused. Run Reaper's Reaper's Mark heal over. Yeah, probably should, huh? Alright, so I ran supplies, consumables, potions, tester's lunchbox. I used to use that lunchbox. I used Lavafoot on my Stampblade build. Probably will have to change though. This will be just regular old tripods. Okay. And I need to get glyphs. Consumables. Enchantments. So I need armor, jewelry. Take another one of those. For jewelry, I'm gonna need what? Spell damage, spell damage, spell damage. That's fine. Let's get a few more of these. We need weapon or the glyphs here, so we'll get shock, weapon damage for the 2H, and then we'll get disease, I guess, for the... Got it. Overall, Savitons is probably the best mythic now. Probably for all the mitigation that you're going to get for the extra survivability. Yeah, I would say it's probably going to be a possibility. Be one of the better... mythics. Oh yeah, this is probably most of this is going live. The only thing that's going to get adjusted, like if I'm being completely honest with you guys, it's just going to be numbers. It's only thing that's going to change is numbers. That's it. Pretty much everything that got's going live. All right, there's all that. Okay. Just CP real quick. Let me actually turn this to non-gamepad mode real quick so I can go through my CPs a little bit faster. Gamepad mode. Points. He is in there. How do you go back? It's Alt. Okay. Here we go. Exploiter be decent. Let's go and get these. So direct damage. Right. Target. Yes, we'll go with critical damage. We'll just go with the 2 flanking, I guess, huh? Since we're doing an Nightblade with the flank critical attack as well. You'll go with Ironclad for more base mitigation, but why spell damage? Because it doesn't make a difference which one you go with. I was just trying to go through fast and get it done. There's that. Okay, that's good there. Burn. All right. Why is my health only at 26,000? Next question I got. Oh, probably because I put points into health, actually. Oh, I get up like 28-ish, I think it is. Well, the rest into stam. Elder Nightblade's online. Yeah. Alright, so now let's get to stage 3 vampire real quick. Consumables. Got the food out. Where's it at? Tester's lunchbox. That one. There's 3. Alright, so this is the new set, actually. I want to test it real quick. Wait, why do I have 12 free points now? I allocated these. Okay. Consumables. Lot. 5,200 damage. So a typical just base buff 5,500. per Khajiit. So for 10k tooltip surprise attack, 18k tooltip vigor. So that's going to be healing for about 3k. 1500 in PvP. So this is how much they heal for in PvP right now, though. That's the thing. Let's look at Eyr0n's though. Let's look at Eyr0n. So 5200 damage. Eyr0n's looking like, wow. Dude. Eyr0n's ain't scaling, bro. Eyr0n's is gutting, bro. Eyr0n's is trash. How much is that clapping for now? 5,500? $5,700? Dookie, bro. Bro, what they do to Eyr0n's, bro? Holy moly. But you gotta think, right? If Eyr0n's tooltip is 5k right now with basic buffs, it's going to be like 2,500 in PvP. Bro, that's trash, dude. All right, well, Eyr0n's is done for. Eyr0n's is dead. But the thing is Nightblade's the only class that can really do anything in this next meta, too. All right, so let's look at the... Well, if that's the case, Eyr0n's is like this, then it's going to be best to go Orders of Wrath from bar. But let's look at Eyr0n's. We have 7,200 damage. Tooltip surprise attack is 12,000. Tooltip Eyr0n's is only 6,500, bro. Okay, no. This is more of a 66% nerf. Because this Eyr0n's used to be hitting for 20k tooltips like this. 20k tooltips was the Eyr0n's. 20k. Like this. With Clever Up. $20k. Alright, let's go Health Bar Center. I'll see what it looks like in a duel. That's a 66% nerf because I remember getting 20k tooltips on Eyr0n's. And that Eyr0n's is hitting for like a whopping 2,000. Jeez, bro. Yep, you're gonna need more heals. Way more heals, bro. To be using the other morph, actually. I've been moving hairlines at normal. So it looks like we're going back to a what do you even call this? Another like the dot. I think it's gonna go to another dot meta. I definitely want another burst heal. I'm being honest. I definitely feel the light attack nerf too. I do like the buff management though. We'll say that. Oh, I freaking that button. Yeah, dude, Calories is done for. Calories is deleted. I would say the Vigor nerf is as bad. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm thinking Orders of Wrath is much better now. Or heck, I don't even know. That's a lot of damage, whatever that is. I don't even know how he's surviving when he's getting that low. I would say like the debuff is like for real very strong. Like Fracture is going to be a very impactful. Yeah, that's a freaking 200 or 2,000 calories, bro. Yeah, like I said, guys, it's a nasty dot meta. I need another heal. Yeah, Calories is trash. Straight up dookie. Straight up trash. I mean, we may as well go with like Orders of Wrath or something. Honestly. Let's see here. Savage Werewolf is better for melee. But like, if it killed the dual wield playstyle though for Nightblade. Now, so we're better off going probably dual wield and resto, I would say. Let's see here. I think dual wield resto will be better. Because then we can go with like Clever Alchemist resto. Reconstruct. Maybe we just do a quick switcheroni real quick. You're gonna see so many more builds running resto now. I may even go resto and should I go resto dual wield or should I go resto? Because I'm not gonna use I want to use rally still though. Take Flame Blossom? Okay. Look at that real quick. Flame Blossom probably is still decent. Yeah, I definitely think that the cowering should have been. I mean, you know, it's common. It's an error. You know, it is what it is. We know it now. But let's put on a resto. I'm telling you guys right now, though, straight up, dots are still strong. Dots are still strong. There's especially strong in duels. Like I was saying, you know, dots are very powerful in duels. Clever Alchemist weapons, resto. Let's see here. So Calories is done for. That's just straight up facts. So we'll probably go with the other morph of Shadowy Disguise. We're definitely gonna be changing the Nightblade build up for sure next patch. Utility skill respec scroll. probably it will be Red Mountain. That used to be a really good set back in the day too. So Dark Cloak, we're gonna run. Mark isn't really usable too much. We'll probably end up using Killer's Blade actually. Here. Possibly. We'll go with Level of Offering. Healthy Offering. That's still a massive tooltip. With... I guess we'll go with Race Against Time here and then Rapid Regen. Right. Rapid Regen there. Matron Titanborn with all that? Titanborn definitely could help for sure. Alright, I think we're gonna try I think we're gonna go with Orders of Wrath front bar. Definitely gonna change my food to smoked bear haunch. That's for sure. Okay. Let's go with Orders of Wrath. Look at Red Mountain? We can just look at Red Mountain. Reconstruct, that's in no, that's not DLC zones, that's in miscellaneous. Dragon. Oh, Red Mountain's in Ebonheart. Stonefalls. 8,500 tooltip. Not even on this bar. 9,700. That's crazy. Yeah, Red Mountain's still pretty good. Oh. How buff weapon and spell damage? Yeah, I need to figure that out, don't I? I'll probably just go with I can go with sap, brain power. Probably just take this off. Let's go with CP. Let's adjust back out of fighting finesse. Gonna adjust out of that. And backstabber. I'm gonna get rid of backstabber. You're gonna need, I think you're gonna need definitely ironclad. Ironclad, Master of Arms, Deadly Aim. You probably can go with fighting finesse actually for the critical damage right there. Griffin, I wouldn't use Griffin with the change to Race Against Time. It's much better now. Wait. Oh, I need Race Against Time here. Now I'm gonna go with Rest Ult 2. There we go. Dark Cloak doesn't heal for anything whenever you're full health. Pretty big. We need to change to Orders of Wrath, right? That's what we're gonna go with. Griffin's Reprisal. Oh, okay. That's that set that gives you the synergy, doesn't it? Collections, no. Yeah, let's try Orders of Wrath. I think that's gonna be the best option. Crafted sets. That'll be the DLC crafted. It'll be in... What was it? There's a Wrath. Just gonna be jewelry, light, weapons. Jewelry, necklace, ring, light belt. Where's Wrath? Probably go with 2. Here's transmute. I'm gonna try that a new set real quick too. The new monster set. Need to change that resto. Feeling hatchling shell for. All right. I've never really played this Nightblade, if I'm being honest with you guys. Played a Nightblade like this with resto, so I'm gonna be definitely rusty. My critical chance is 28%. Definitely need more than that. Let's get rid of Impale. And let's just go with just the Fighter's Guild skill for now. Let's get a few more glyphs. Let's get some jewelry. We need some spell damage. These. Shock. So that's fine with me. Gotta reconstruct those. The patch overall isn't looking too promising right now, I will be honest. But we'll see. We'll see what it pans out to be. Alright, so there's that. I need, I think I need some more magic recovery, to be honest, but we'll see. We ready? We're ready. See what this looks like. I've never played an Nightblade like this, so we'll see. Pit Blade looks like the way. And right now. Oh, what's the bear set? I don't even know. Oh, that's the vulnerability, isn't it? Off balance heavy real quick. That heal is dookie whenever you're high health. The Dark Cloak? Terrible. Oh, I was just hitting my end cap just now. Yeah, definitely the new meta I think is dot builds. Especially for duels. Because since healing is adjusted now a little bit, dots are more powerful because the dots overall deal more damage now. That's the thing. So if dots deal more damage, then that means that you have to heal through more damage over time. That bear looks dookie. It's super slow, looks like. You just put dots up and forget about it. Yeah, definitely it's a dot meta. Which I was waiting for a fat Balor proc. I'm trying to risk it for the biscuit. Oh, that's some dumb stuff. Finally, my bear hits and it doesn't actually deal damage. I don't have an opportunity to deal damage with it. Oh, that's some dumb stuff. Well, it's still a lot of never-ending fights, though. Do. Yeah, there's nothing you can do when he blocks. I'm about to leave because this is not going to end. I think Orders of Wrath is the way to go for sure. Try one more burst. It'll end. GG's. It is not going to end. Go back to battle. So, I think dots are powerful in duels. If you can't out-heal dots, you're screwed. Definitely need some type of execute. Drop Vigor? Vigor's still giving me enough healing. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I think for duels it does fine. I think for duels it does fine. I think this is a good test overall, though. I'm gonna do a video on the shadow nerf to Calorians. The massive nerf. I just... What irritates me the most, I think, is they said that they weren't going to do any crazy changes. Oh yeah, try to MDK. Yeah, we'll try some SamDK real quick. How about that? What do we want to do on the SamDK? What do we want to do on SamDK real quick? What's gear sets? Your dot DK? Like my trickery plague rake DK? Dragon Knight. I think it's Imperial, huh? Yeah, so we'll probably go with trickery. Trickery will be nice. So what do we replace Tideborn with? We could go trickery and burning spellweave. I don't want to go Sea Serpents. I want to go with Death Dealers. I find more value from Death Dealers personally. I'm probably gonna go trickery spellweave. So I think Plague would be good for Cyrodiil, but it's not going to perform well in 1v1s. Straight facts. If those guys are still even there by the time we get back. I prefer Death Dealers. I don't like being snared by that Sea Serpents. It's not too noticeable in ones, but in open world it definitely is.
For a glorious sunflower bouquet for my partners. How I miss them.
Ironblood, I think it's more balanced for sure. We definitely did need a nerf. It did need to be a unique buff. That was what made it so powerful. Nameplates. Okay, always. Interface, frame rate, camera. All right, controls, we'll go with... Open swaps that. Brent. Then we'll go with... Cursor. Bad mode. Yeah, we'll go with Burning Spellweave. I think Burning Spellweave and Trickery are probably the best SamDK build. Kind of sounds dumb, but it is. Let's go reconstruct. Reconstruct dungeons. I guess we can just get it real quick. I don't have to. What's your opinion on the Broken Soul nerf? I think it's valid. I think it's more in line for what it's supposed to be. Honestly. Dungeon sets and crafted sets. Crafted sets. Neutral. I think it was no, it was DLC. It was from Varnamfell and the neutral trickery. And then dungeon sets. Light. Spell leave. So we got the belt, weapons, jewelry. $2H mall. Belt. Did I get the... Okay, running spell weave. Alright, trickery now. We need heavy, medium weapons. Heavy legs, heavy feet, medium hands. Okay, and then we'll go sword and board. Okay. Reconstruct, miscellaneous, death dealers. I think it was ones. I think I ran mostly infused. This will be the last test real quick tonight because I gotta wake up early too. There's that miscellaneous. Just gonna do one quick duel. Starter zones, trainee. See epic. Then we'll go dungeons, blood spawn with a medium and a heavy reconstruct. Heavy. I mean, I think overall the changes are not very good. I think it's gonna be just another feeling out period of, oh, what's gonna be the best class now? Oh, what's happening now? You know, it's just gonna take forever to figure out everything again. You know, it's kind of frustrating. You find a build you like, and then they nerf everything 2 weeks later. You know, it's kind of annoying. So, potions. Esther's Lunchbox, we need stage 3, and then we need probably Smoke Bear. And then enchantments, take all. Jewelry, we need weapon damage. Physical harm, physical harm, physical harm. Then we need weapon damage, we don't need a flame glyph anymore, so we could probably go with disease. No, shock, we'll go with shock on the 2H. And then we'll go with poisons on the back bar. If I can get those poisons real quick. And then we'll go with armor and chance, all tri-stat. Okay. Enchant shock. Enchant no poisons. Enchant tri-stat, enchant tri-stat, enchant tri-stat. Enchant damage, enchant damage, enchant damage. Okay, transmute. I think this should be Nern. We'll go with, I think, Howard is probably the best. So I'm going to go to defending. Well fitted, reinforce, well fitted. Let's go with sturdy here, actually. Reinforced, reinforced. 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 We need another tri-stack glyph for the shield, actually. Jewelry and chat box. Everything's enchanted. Everything's good there. You turn these to 2 infused. Hey, Trev. I'm gonna hurry up for you guys so we can wrap it up for the night. Been pretty good testing though. See, man. Those dots last forever, dude. Golly. Rally. And we need, what was this here? Shattering Rocks and Racing Against Time, I believe. Or Elusive Mist, one of the two. Race Against Time. Or Shattering Rocks. Probably go with Race Against Time. Then we'll go with Race Against Time. It'll last much longer now. What? Yeah, we could go with a Mist, I guess, huh? I mean, but more or less for duels, it's probably best to go with Where's it at? No. Upgrades. Oh, we could. That's right. So we could drop armor buff, but I don't know, man. This armor buff is nice. This gives us a fat damage shield based off of our maximum health. Pairing it up with Death Dealers and having a lot of health, I think this is going to be a lot of value next patch with the overall changes to the update. You know, I think overall we'll benefit more from running that skill, I think. Probably. I don't know, though. Hard to say yet. Need Ironclad, huh? Okay, there's that. I'll probably be testing stuff on the PTS over the next few days. Maybe just a little bit here and there on streams. Alright, so we need back damage, single target. And then I don't know what else now. Back damage, single targets. Could work with some off balance. Could try that. Maybe, but I think we'd be better off probably going with Duel's rebuff. Reducing our damage taken. There's that. I get rid of that thing. What's this? It's everything. Come on, controller, please work for me there. This is so frustrating, dude. Does this? I have to close out the game for it to work. Fine. Hope my controller forgets how to work. Music stopped a long time ago, huh? Go. Dude. Work, please. Alright. Potions there. Okay. Pump the rest of the stam. Turn my cord around the other way? No, it's not. It's not that. It's just stupid. It's not disconnecting because it's still connected. It's still plugged in. I've not changed it since I started earlier. Got everything right. Golly, those dots last forever, dude. That's boring, dude. That is so boring. How long they last? I think we're ready. Yeah. I'm like getting out of combat fun. What the heck? Okay. Goodbye, I guess. I guess you'll never lose your Death Dealer stacks. That's for sure. with there you call it up. There's a counterplay I was talking about the resources. Definitely can feel the nerf to what do you call it? To whip. Definitely can feel a change to the burst potential that it provides. I just, man, damage feels underwhelming. On a high damage setup. Just kind of feels underwhelming. Wait, do I even have... I don't even have my vampire passives. Never even have my vampire passives. That would have helped a little bit. Oh, my controller went veering for a second there. Yeah, I didn't even have that. I didn't even have my vamp reduction. Now we're using Burning Spellweave right now. Burning Spellweave Trickery. Doing alright. Burning Spellweave is going to increase our healing potential though, compared to something like Plague Break, where it won't. Good rage. I think Plague will be good for Xing for sure. Yeah, so light attacks are streamlined now. Let's see something real quick. Let's see something. So this light attack's hitting for 2,310 damage. Okay. We'll see what it does. Okay, so it does affect my vulnerabilities. So what about Noxious? So 2310 now it's 2520. With Proc Burning Spellweave, we're at 5,500 damage. Not terrible. Right now in the PTS, we're running Burning Spell Weave, Trickery, Bloodspawn, DK. I think this is probably the best DK, at least just going into the update. Death Dealers gives us a lot of health. You know. 3 stacks of Whip. Plus Burning Spell Weave, we're at 6,100 damage, I think. 17k tooltip Whip. Not as bad. It's not as good as it is on the live server, but it's okay. I think Burning Spell Weave Trickery is probably the better way to go. Resistances are about 28k. Appreciate that, Jason. So this is we're Imperial. We have 1 medium, 2 medium. We have 1 heavy, 2 heavy, 3 heavy, 4 heavy. And then we have 1 light. I just can't believe freaking engulfing flames last for 24 freaking seconds, dude. Like, come on, man. How that is way too long. Way too long. Maybe 16? 15 would be fine. That's what it was before. Oh, man. No. What was Dark Cloak hitting for? It felt kind of weird, to be honest with you. I tried Dark Cloak earlier. It's literally, this is what DK is now. In PvP, it's gonna be dot. Okay, now you can't. You gotta do Flames of Oblivion. Now Whip. Flames of Oblivion. Flames of Oblivion. Flames of Oblivion. Whip. Noxious. Venom Claw. Flames of Oblivion. Whip. Flames of Oblivion. Flames of Oblivion. Flames of Oblivion. Flames of Oblivion. Whip. There's no point of reapplying your dots. Maybe Noxious could get reapplied. Because it doesn't scale, but Venom Claw is the worst thing you could reapply, because you're going to lose damage. So you can maybe go with Venom, like Noxious Breath like that. So you don't have to spam so much magic. Here's the stats looking like with Trickery and whatnot. 65, 2,000 stam recovery, 1,100 mag recovery, 36k health, 27k stam, almost 20k magic. I mean, I guess you could do infinite chain spam. But that's more boring, to be honest with you. I guess you could, since your dots last forever. Can you show Cinder tooltip? Sure. We get a combat first. My freaking 15-second dots. Oh. Ah, man, it takes forever. Probably could kill it by the time I freaking had to leave. Right. Trying to leave combat's going to be annoying next patch. Wow, Syndrome looks pretty good. So 4,000 healing every 2 seconds. 4612. 2833. What is that? What is that? 2833 times 2. This is a basic number. $56.66. Yeah. Good for duels, for sure. It does look bad, Jay. It does look it does look bad. It looks like healing is like weird now. It's like a weird kind of thing, like you're fiending for a heal. Like every class, like the best way I could describe it is every class feels like a warden healing potential. That's the best way you could describe it. Like you're always like, maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. The healing is definitely noticeable across the board. Vigor. I think DK is very tanky. Rally didn't get touched, which is interesting. Neither did Honor the Dead, so I guess most of the class burst heals are fine. Just they nerfed healing over time, which is a good thing. I mean, that's kind of what we're asking for. Yeah, it feels like the old Defile. That's kind of how it feels like. Feels like if you guys remember playing against the old 30% major Defile plus 15% minor Defile, back when like DKs had like Trimmer, Scale, Viper, and Black Rose. That's what it feels like now. Kind of. That makes sense. Any idea what to run on Bosork? I would not make a Bosork right now. Bosork's getting deleted next patch. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up, guys. I think that's gonna be a pretty good test. I mean, we got a lot of stuff covered and talked about the patch, viewed all the patch notes. If you guys are just coming in here, later in the stream, rewatch about the first hour and a half. We went over every single thing in the patch notes, pretty in depth. I talked about it at length. Overall, my impressions on the PTS so far: healing feels weird. Eyr0n is gutted. Eyr0n got nuked. Eyr0n is tickling like a freaking pickle. Eyr0n is barely, not even 10k on a high damage build. Eyr0n sucks. If that wasn't reported in the patch notes. I'll probably do a video on that tomorrow. Probably do a few short videos talking about the patch. Overall, probably just cover, like class changes and whatnot. Yeah, watch when I was on my Nightblade. Looked at Eyr0n's. It can proc once every 5 seconds, but it has less than a 10k tooltip. It's literally hitting people for like 2k. But all right, guys. Well, I will be doing some videos tomorrow. I may not stream tomorrow. I may just do a few videos, short ones, here and there, covering all the big changes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. We may get on the PTS tomorrow and test some more things out. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate all the love and support. And I'll catch you guys next stream. Peace.